Hello, I'm Alton, and today we're actually going to be reviewing a 2012 Audi A5 two-door coupe. This is going to be a 2.0T Quattro model. Now, a little hint about Audi. I'm going to give you a brief glimpse of the back so you can see exactly what we're going to be driving. Brief note on Audi. They actually have a legendary engine, which they use in their R8, which is actually inducted into the Hall of Fame as one of the top 4 engines ever produced. When you look at the company themselves, of course, they have the legendary all-wheel drive system, which is Quattro. So we should have no problem actually staying within our lane and also within the lines of the road. Now, as always, I always start you off with a couple of curves that we're actually going to take before we actually hit the road. Curves we're going to take, I'll do that fairly aggressive so you can see how the all-wheel drive system actually performs with it being in Audi. It should do extremely well. Of course, they have done very well when it has actually come with the different races and different all-terrains. And in some ways, they've actually been discriminated against in a lot of those races for their success that they were having. As you can tell, this does have the keyless feature, so you don't have to take the key out of your pocket. Now, the exterior is going to be a white exterior, as you've already seen. There again, this is the two-door coupe from Audi, the A5 model. Does have the brown interior, which Audi is known for. Of course, black, beige, brown are your only options there. Well noted on this vehicle that it really has been a game changer for Audi in a lot of ways with the A7, because whereas some of the luxury models have actually struggled, the Audi A5 has done pretty well. Give you a quick glimpse of the interior before we take off. There's your back seat. And of course, as I always say, do not judge it by that, or do not judge the legroom by the space sticks you see there. These seats can be all the way back. Going to go ahead and jump in, give you a quick shot of the cockpit here. Behind the steering wheel, this is what we're going to be driving. And I'm going to do something actually a little different. And what I mean by that, I'll actually note once we start driving. You may or may not like it, but I actually have people that mention to me all the time, hey, can you actually do this or without that? Now I'm going to give you a shot of this control deck one more time. Can be a little confusing, but that's a whole nother video. If I go into that right now, you'll be heavily confused and 100% ingrained in that, and we will not achieve what we're going to achieve. So I'm going to zoom down. We're going to go ahead and put it in gear. Of course, you can see here. Here will be manual mode, so I can actually shift my gears manually. And then if I bring it here and push down once, that actually puts me in sport mode. When you do shift down, you can actually see in the instrument cluster behind the steering wheel, in the bottom left-hand corner there, right up under the mileage, which is 22,586, you can see the D. If I pull down additionally, it's going to be sport. So we're actually going to start off in, let's start off in drive. That's going to be the basic way that most people drive the vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and take off. Now there again, I'm not a gunner. I'm not going to harm the vehicle, but at the same time, I do want to show you how it performs. We have a couple of curves. Very spontaneous vehicle. Should be very sure-footed, sorry. Got a little problem with that word. Sure-footed from Audi's Quattro system. Handle the curves quite nicely. Actually, I didn't even notice that they were curves. Of course, if you've seen a couple of my other videos, you can definitely take note that I generally will tell you when there's a curve and how the vehicle performs on the curves, because you can feel that you're on a curve. But with this, it almost felt like a straight line or a straight road. We're coming up on Independence Boulevard. Good thing there's no fires. Fire trucks actually would stop us. The lights actually rotate with the emergency signal. So we're going to make our way out. Looks like we actually have a green light. And there we go. So we're going to make this right. Now we are going to be in traffic, so I'm not going to put anyone in harm's way here, but I do want to show you how the vehicle performs. You can feel a little little bit of the inspiration, I like to call it. It's a continual pull. So in other words, when you press acceleration, it's a continual pull to where you're moving forward. But at a point there, which is right at about a second, maybe a second and a half, you can really feel it kick in and you really start to move. It's actually very exciting. Now keep in mind, this isn't one of Audi's performance lines. So you will have, or this would be more of a basic setup for Audi without adding any performance on it whatsoever. They do have a performance line, which would be above this. The top would be an RS model. But this is not one of them, and I mention that simply because this is what I deem to be a natural vehicle, which is a natural A5. Now you can hear a little bit more of the engine that I would like to hear at this price point, and of course with it being one of the big three as Mercedes, BMW, and Audi. But let's look beyond that. Maybe you're buying a car for inspiration in the way of speed. So you can see a BMW in front of us. Strangely enough, they did a survey. On the survey, they said if you were ever experienced road rage, or someone around you experiencing road rage, car driver or the manufacturer that most consumers will drive and actually show road rage was BMW. What do you think about that? That's a survey they actually did. I read it in one of the magazine subscriptions and also the newspaper, so I actually know that must be pretty factual, or they actually did the survey. It was in a magazine and a newspaper. So going along, you will get a little feedback from the road. That's known with your European vehicles. Not so much of a floaty feeling. Now if we're actually changing lanes, so I'm going to be fairly aggressive here. Very responsive. Steering's not sensitive. It's not one of those to where you touch the steering wheel, you feel like, oh my God, I'm going in and immediately going there, to where you're uncomfortable. But feels very good. I was able to change lanes very comfortably. Felt like I was in control. A lot of that is going to be the sure-footedness of the Quattro system from Audi. Always love to give you a shot of the road. As those lines pass by, you can tell how fast I'm going. Now, keep in mind, definitely take ear to the interior cabin noise as we go along. There's no radio. It's just us, the engine, not primarily hearing anything from the outside as far as the traffic around me. So we're doing 60 now. We're going to go ahead and punch it. We're at 70 and accelerating. I didn't start off with a cold start back there. I actually took a minute or two to drive to that location. So it was not a cold start. Slight hesitation before it kicked in, but it's a continual grab. So I shouldn't explain it as a hesitation. It's just kind of a putting it off for a second or two, hoping you prepare for it before it actually moves you forward aggressively. So you can see a little bit of traffic in front of us. Don't want to put us in harm's way, but let's see if we can maneuver around a little bit of it. We're doing 70 miles per hour right now. So we're going to go in. Very nicely done. Now we're slowing down a bit, but just kind of move in and out of traffic here so you can feel that. Because of the Quattro system, I mean, if you're steering in one way, it's going to take you that way. You don't have any hesitation when it comes to the movement of the vehicle. Of course, a lot of the vehicles now will have the electromagnetic steering, which I absolutely love. Of course, if you're buying a car that performs at all, you never want to feel as if you're out of control. So you can see me moving along here. Notice the vibration of the camera. Along with the vibration of the camera, of course, notice the sway, either right or left. I'm gonna take the curve. This is one of the things they should show you when you test drive your Audi, is how it feels along the curve. Very expiring. Not expiring to speed, but expiring just to move along. Or, as Audi likes to say, progressively moving forward. So we're going to wait on traffic, give you a shot. This is off of Independence Boulevard, which was one of the primary areas here in Charlotte, the Charlotte area, but it's kind of gone down a bit. Businesses and things of that nature have moved elsewhere because of road construction. We're going to come up on Bojangles Coliseum as we make this left. That's going to be on the right here. If you ever come to Charlotte for some of the different attractions and entertainment, that's where you'll be placed there, which is the Bojangles Coliseum. We're going to make a right here, and we're going to have to merge into traffic. So this is to give us an opportunity to really feel what it feels like. I'm going to come back so you can get a shot behind the steering wheel, and you can actually see my speed. So there you go there. You can see the flicker at the very bottom. All right, let's see what we can do. You can hear that exhaust again, but it's very invigorating. I mean, it makes you feel great just to hear that sound as you accelerate. Not exactly a race car, it's a natural A5, but at the same time, I love it. As you can see, the number of times I've used the word starting with an I, such as invigorating or inspired. Now imagine, of course, if we were driving the RS, that would be a whole different story, and of course my excitement would be on another level. If you're looking for a touch-up performance, you're looking for a vehicle with traction, if you're in a bad weather area, or you're just a speeder or an aggressive driver, Audi is definitely a brand you should take note of. It's not going to thrill you. I'm going to take you a shot of the dashboard once again. It's not going to thrill you with the look of the interior of the vehicle. But at the same time, if you're buying something that's remotely going to be known or you're going to use for performance, or you love a very inspiring drive, Audi is definitely a brand to look forward to. Just giving you a quick look here. Feel like I have enough room. I definitely have comfortable leg roominess here. You don't get that with some of your Asian brands, but with Audi being a European brand, seems like they're cut bigger in the front seat. So you get a little bit of the scenery. You can see how we're moving along. And of course, I think I'm going to bring you to an end here. Hopefully you have enjoyed this. Definitely take note of my channel. I give you different things such as this. Of course, a lot of times you will have somebody giving you a biased opinion. But for myself, I don't do any edits. It's just me. So if I mess a word up like I did to start, you know I messed it up and I butchered it. But at the same time, I'm giving you a little bit of what it's going to feel like to be behind the steering wheel of your favorite vehicle.